Howdy friends! So, you want to learn how to make games? Well, let me tell you, in my opinion there is really only one good way to do it. See, reading books, watching YouTube videos and lectures is not really going to get you anywhere. I mean, I've been there, right? You watch videos on how to do this or that, but by the time you feel like you understand how it works, you'll have lost interest and it kinda sucks. So, in my opinion, just do it, forehead. No, but seriously. It doesn't matter which programming language you're using, it doesn't matter how much experience you have, just sit down and make something. Yes, of course you'll get stuck, and yes, of course you'll not know things and you'll have to look it all up. And it may seem embarrassing to look up all these quote-unquote dummy questions, but it really isn't. We all have to start somewhere, right? And by just learning as you go along, you make sure that making games stays way more interesting and you're sure to remember much more of what you learn as well. Now, sure, what the hell should you try to make anyways? Thinking about what you could do for too long is also not really going to help you out here. So I have a list for you. A list of 20 challenges that you can do to get started making games. They're all ranked from beginner to expert as well, so you can start off simple or you can get right ahead with something more challenging. So let's just start off with some beginner challenges, right? You could make your program print "Hello World" to the console. Yeah, of course, sure, it's extremely basic, but also it is very useful for learning how to set up your coding environment, for example. You could also make a program that will read any number you write into the console, square it, and return the squared value. And you could make a program that will read any sentence from the console and return the all uppercase version of it. And you could make a program that will read two numbers from the console, multiply them together, and return the results to the console. And finally, as a beginner challenge, make a hangman game where you get to input the answer into the console first, then your friend can guess letters. If your friend guesses the word in time, then the console should print the answer with something like "you won." And if your friend is out of guesses, the console should also print the answer, but this time with something like "you lose." Then for intermediates, you could make your program read a list or array of numbers from a file, add them all up and return the sum to the console. You can also make your program read some amount of numbers from the console and write those to a file. You could make your program read in a list of numbers from a file or from a console and sort them in ascending order, then output the sorted list to the console. Next, you could also make your program randomly generate an array of numbers and sort them using the insertion sort algorithm and using the quicksort algorithm. Now compare the speed of these two algorithms for arrays of 100 entries, 1000 entries and 10,000 entries. And finally, as the quote-unquote challenge for intermediates, make a GitHub repository of one of your previous challenges. Make sure to pull the code, change it in some way, push it again, and get comfortable with using it. I mean, yes, it is pretty boring, but it is also very useful to get used to this. Then for advanced programmers, you could get OpenGL and GLFW bindings for whatever programming language you are using and make an empty window. Next, you can then use OpenGL to let a white triangle appear on a black background. Then you can use whatever you need to display text on the GLFW screen. To start off with, just write "Hello World" or something. Then you could use OpenGL and GLFW to simulate a small white square falling from some height onto a white surface. Make sure you can detect when the two collide and let the square bounce on the surface with some amount of realism. And as the final challenge, and you can feel that it is really ramping up quickly here, make the game Pong using OpenGL and GLFW, and whatever else you need really. And for bonus points, give your version of Pong your own unique spin. Maybe make it 3D, or maybe add gravity, or add a second ball. Just do whatever you like. That is why you are a game developer, right? Make something awesome. And then for experts, you could make your program display a 3D cube that spins around the y-axis. Next, you could load in a 3D mesh from the internet and display that instead of the cube. Then you could also add realistic lighting to your scene with normals and lighting directions and lighting colors. And next up, you could give your 3D mesh a texture. You can get a mesh with the texture from the internet, but make sure you display the texture correctly. That is not always as simple as it sounds. And as a final challenge, make a simple Minecraft clone. Add dirt and grass and stone and sand and basic water. I mean, you don't have to make it flow and add all the water physics, that's all fine. Just a blue block will do. And add a creeper as well. If you like, you can add much more, of course, and you can go as deep as you want. And trust me, you can get very deep here. And if that wasn't quite enough for you yet, then consider this one ultimate challenge. Make a 3D scene and make a ray tracer or even a path tracer to render it with. Alright guys, that is it. Before anyone goes and leaves an angry comment though, yes, I did ignore game engines for these challenges. Using a game engine like Unity or Unreal is very awesome, but I think doing everything by yourself will teach you so much more, and it's just so much more educational. So yeah, again, I really urge you to just get started. Pick the challenge you feel comfortable with and just do it and build up from there. Again, it doesn't matter if it takes you a little while to figure it out, and it really doesn't matter if you need help from the internet. You can always ask me questions, of course, in the comments, and you can head over to my Discord server as well and ask questions there. We have such a wonderful community who would just love to help you out. And if you want, you can even show off your completed challenges over there. But alright everyone, that was really it. Good luck and goodbye.